Here's a quick overview of your invoicing dashboard. So in the top, we have a search field where you can search your invoices. Here you can filter, or of course, create a new one. So let's take a look at searching for invoices. I'll type in consult and click enter. It'll show you everything that has the word consult, consulting in the invoice. So this is a quick way to look for your invoices. To go back, just delete this, click enter again, and it'll show you all your invoices. Now, the first column here are invoice numbers. And the second one is the actual status. There are a couple different invoice statuses, which we'll go over here. So if we want to filter something, take a look at the status. We have draft, downloaded, sent, viewed, past due, partial payment, and of course, paid. So a draft is an invoice that you've created that you haven't sent to the customer or downloaded yourself. As soon as you download it or as soon as you send it to a customer, the status will change to downloaded or sent. Now, once it's sent and the customer looks at the invoice, it's going to be marked as viewed. So when you create a new invoice, it's going to ask you for the invoice date and a due date. And if the invoice is past the due date, regardless if the customer has added a partial payment, it's going to be marked as past due and there's going to be a red icon. We'll go over those in a second. Partial payments are invoices that have been invoiced, that are within the time frame, that are not past due, that have had a partial payment applied to it. So if your invoice is for $1,000, somebody pays you $300, that's going to be marked partial. And of course, last is paid, and paid invoices are invoices, of course, paid in full. So let's go ahead and look at these statuses. So this invoice here, if you hover over it, you'll see that it's been viewed, and the customer owes you $498 out of $498, and it'll also show you a due date. This one here is a partial payment. This here has been sent, but it has not been viewed. This invoice here has been paid in full, and this here has not been sent, so we call this a draft. This invoice here has been downloaded, and these here are past due. In the next column, we have issued, the date you issued the invoice, of course, customer here, and the text underneath that is the project or job description. Total is the total amount invoiced, and the balance is how much is due. So again, if this number is lower than total, that means there's a partial payment. Over here on the right, we can send the invoice directly from here. We can preview the invoice, or if you hover over the three dots, we can download it, we can edit it, we can delete or duplicate it. Duplicating an invoice is super simple. However, if you have a lot of invoices that you're creating on a monthly basis, it's better to create a recurring invoice profile, which we'll go over in another video. But what duplicating does, I'll show you real quick. If you click on this, it'll populate the invoice with everything from the previous invoice. Of course, it'll have a new invoice number, and we suggest changing the date as well. So let's go back to the Invoices tab. There's another option here for filtering, and you can filter by customer. So we can say, okay, let's look at Tequility Ventures, apply filter, and you'll see the filter here. You can also remove that filter by just clicking the X right here. And that pretty much summarizes our invoicing dashboard. Any questions, please let us know.